Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. I hope you enjoy, so let's get started. So the lamp I had next to my bed, I ended up moving downstairs for the spare bedroom because I really do think it looks really good there. In fact, I've ended up changing out the circle line bulb for a 13 watt PL. It ended up fitting a lot better and it had a much better light output, not as bright, had the color temperature I was looking for, so I ended up going with that instead of the circle line. But because I've taken the lamp from my nightstand upstairs to put down in the spare bedroom, I need something else to put there, really. It just looks odd without anything. So this 3-lamp crazy light looking thing here is going to end up on my nightstand by my bed. Now this thing actually has quite a significance to it. I remember picking this up with my mom back in the day at a store called Shopko. I think it was Shopko. It may have been Kmart or something else, but I want to say it was Shopko back in the day. A brand of stores that was in the Wisconsin area. They also had some other ones out here in Washington, I guess, of all places. But Shopko was kind of like a Kmart, a Walmart, but it didn't have any of the groceries. So it's a little bit more high-end, kind of like Fred Meyer, but without the groceries. So anyway, I picked this up with my mom way back in the day, and the date on the bottom of this thing is 2003. Sounds about right. This lamp traveled even to my grandparents' house in Milwaukee, where we used it on the table downstairs to paint colored eggs at Easter time. So this light has definitely made it around, and it has a lot of history with it. So I'm kind of happy to be able to put this back into use in my bedroom. So this light has gone through many different variations over the years from when I was very young and picked it up back around 2003. It originally had some B10 25 watt bulbs inside, but it has since ended up, after nightlight bulbs and different variations, with these little, I want to say they're like G16 25 watt 130 volt bulbs inside of them. Of course, you know, when you're growing up, you have many different ideas and change your mind. And I took the covers off of these for a while. They just kind of unscrew. And you can just have it without it. And I just had some different bulbs in there and made it a very unique light in that regard. So if I back up all the way here, you can get a much better look at it. It has a 3-way switch. So if we plug it in here, you get 1, 2, 3. And I want to say I originally had this as 1, the blue. These colors were 2 and then 3 altogether. And I think I'm going to do that same thing. I liked having the blue on its own. Now I'm going to clean it up slightly. It was originally in my parents' attic for a very long time. And then they brought it out here in one of their trips a couple years ago. And well, it's finally time to bring it out of my spare room area under the stairs and put it back in my bedroom of all places. It's gone full circle and that's where it's going to end up again. But I think it's a unique fixture. They made a lot of these in stand-up lamps. I had a 4-lamp version of this that I got at, I think, the Family Dollar back in the day. Ended up giving that to a friend. So I got this little 3-lamp version for a desk light type thing. Still really cool. I'm glad I still have it after all these years. So I'm just going to clean it up here and then it'll find a new home at my bedstand. As a side note, this was the only thing I picked up at the thrift store this past weekend. It's an Apple keyboard, nothing too special about it, but it is a newer version. It's rechargeable with the little lightning connector. These are not cheap. I picked up one of these when it was brand new and they're like $80 or something ridiculous. $5. It's not in that bad a shape. I'm sure it works just fine. There's our new friend Milo. Boy, he certainly takes up the whole queen-size bed. We got Winston and our lamp in the corner. Looks pretty good there. We're back to the wall project again, and it is finally time, well, we have the time, and it doesn't matter if I turn the circuit off anymore, to wire up our new outlets into the hidden electric box. There it is, all wired up. I'm happy with it. Now you may be wondering, why in the world is the wire coming in like this? You're not going to leave it like that. No, I'm not. Don't worry. We have a solution. I chose to use an extender box because the holes in the top are all filled in the back and it's really hard to get to the bottom ones. So in doing this, it allows us to get a little bit more room inside of the box to add these wires. Of course, there's a lot of room now, but It allows an easy way for this to come in as well. And there's the end result. I'm happy with it. And now we finally have a home to plug in our table lamp. Like I said, I went back to the 13 watt PL. I like the color of it a lot better. So we have the hole in the bottom there beneath the lamp and the shelf and all that in the spare bedroom down here, and we need to cover it up. I don't really have a good board for that, and I don't really want to use the leftover scraps of the wall covering because I want to paint the edges of that, and it's, a fibrous style material. So anyway, I got some of these old little chunks of wood that used to be on the wall here. It's like a type of siding or something, but I'm going to cut it in a perfect square, clean it up, paint it up, and that'll be our cover. There it is. Now we just need to get it all painted up. Now that we got the outlets wired up, we're continuing with lighting up the shelf itself. So, over here, we obviously have the LyteTrim that lights up the shelf, but that's incredibly hard to find. So, instead, I'm going to make my own version out of this Philips Hue light strip thing here. It's 10 feet long. This isn't 10 feet, it's 6 feet. But I'm thinking I can loop it back a certain way. I know I can cut it, I can make it shorter, but I don't want to do that. If I paid for the whole thing, I'm going to use the whole thing. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me to cut it shorter. Anyway, so how are we going to do that? I like having this angled look here with the lights kind of facing up at the items. So I don't just want to stick it to the bottom and have it face up. That's not lighting anything up. So what I'm going to do is use this piece of outer edge trim. It's angled. I used this on the wall in there. Now this one is actually PVC instead of wood like I used there. And the reason I used wood on the corner, it just matches better. The finish is much more like the paneling, where the PVC here, it has a bit of a shine to it, when the light hits it, so it just wouldn't look natural or correct. But this is much more sturdy to use for what we're going to do. So I'm going to cut it to 6 feet, exactly the length of the shelf. We're going to have to notch out some areas for the little bolts and things that are up there to fit within that area. We will put the light strip on the edge here, and at the ends we'll loop it over and kind of bring it back to use up the rest of the, strip that we have. So that's the whole idea. The end pieces, because the LyteTrim has caps on the end, I'm thinking of using some spare white plastic pieces we have at work when we cut them down to size, and I'll just cut them into an inch by an inch piece to just put on the end of there. That should look just fine. So that is the idea for creating our own LyteTrim. Okay, so I got it cut to length, a little shorter than the shelf, and I went ahead and marked where the nuts and bolts are and made these little V cuts here to accommodate the bracket. This one didn't turn out so good. So that the bracket and all that can sit. Now this does mean that it's going to overhang the edge a little bit, but good thing it all looks nice no matter what, so that'll be perfectly fine. And then once I know that, I will make some holes in this to secure it to the shelf. But that's where it sits right now. And that's how it'll sit and look when we're all said and done. It actually sits further in than I was originally anticipating. I thought it was going to hang off a lot further, but this is going to work out great. Obviously, as you can see, it blocks seeing items on the shelf up there. You can't see them very good anymore. But I had the same problem over here. And what I did is I just made a platform for everything to sit up a little higher, fix the problem. So here's the Philips Hue light strip thing that we're going to be using. And the reason I picked the Philips Hue is, well, one, I have plenty of their products already in the house, but two, it actually has a natural color spectrum. It's not just, colors. You get actual LEDs on here that do, warm white, cool white, daylight, all that kind of stuff. So of course you get your colored LEDs, but you get your natural LEDs as well. So you're not just, dealing with the terrible white that comes from putting all the colored LEDs on at once. You'll actually get some nice color out of this versus, what LEDs could have done, and it would look a lot more natural trying to compare it to the filament LED bulbs that are on this shelf. So that's why I went with this as the option. I like the option of having all the different color spectrums. And here is the end result. So we've made our own LyteTrim. It's not as cool, that's for sure. But we do have our strip in here. As you can see, I lined up all the LEDs so that they would match each other. It allowed me to curve the ends here just right so everything fits. As you can see, we have some holes drilled for mounting to the shelf. I am really happy with this. I'll get some end pieces made and get those on there in a bit, but for today, this is awesome. I'm going to get this put up there, and we'll get it programmed up, and hopefully, the next time you see this thing, it'll be on. Now we have the original shelf, and shelf number 2. I like it. I think it turned out pretty good. You can see on the ends here, where there's the double light, you know, it's a little darker here in the center. But other than that, I think it blends together very well. This is at 40% brightness, because when this thing's up all the way at full brightness, it definitely outshines this thing. So 40% seems to match up with the LyteTrim over here. I could put brighter bulbs in this, but I like the dimness of it. And this has the ability to dim itself. So I'm super pleased with it. I think it's looking pretty good. A cover has been fabricated and painted white to go over the hole in the bedroom. And there it is installed. Turned out pretty good if you ask me. It's not perfect, but you know what? It's a lot better than having a big hole in the wall. A lot of different random finds for this week, so let's take a quick look at them. Here we have a 250 watt Philips mercury vapor bulb. I actually got 3 of these. 2 of them are at work for a fixture there that needs them. One of them I left here so that we can do a video on it. So here is our Philips 250 watt mercury vapor bulb. In fact, these I got online. I did not find these at a restore, but we needed them for a fixture at work, and I located them, so I'm happy with that. Got a mix of different things here. This big Sylvania Mood Glow bulb, picked that up at the restore, 50 cents. I mean, all the bulbs are usually 50 cents. In fact, they all were here, so I'm not a big fan of the big clear ones, but I love this packaging. Notice anything interesting? We don't have the GTE logo, but they do have a spot for it, so it must have been when they were kind of phasing that out. Here we have a 150 watt high pressure sodium Sylvania bulb, medium base. It is brand new. I opened it up just to make sure. It looks like it's good, and it's brand new. So awesome find there for 50 cents. These Super Saver bulbs are unique because they're A17 in shape. These are not the standard A19 shape bulbs. I believe they called these Slimline, just like the other ones here. So we have some 52 watt energy saver versions, and then some regular wattage 75 watt ones here. Those are pretty cool. We also got a variety of heat lamps. I love this packaging, these GE Chill Chaser bulbs. These are red in color, 250 watt. And then we have some 250 watt clear ones here. The cool thing is all the different pricing stickers. So these are from Kmart. This one was from Payless, which is apparently some type of store, drugstore down in Tacoma back in the day. And of course, Fred Meyer. So a variety of different stores there that these have come from over all the years. I'm guessing somebody had them all, and they just obviously didn't need them anymore. So to the restore they went. Brand new again, not bad for 50 cents. And of course we had some fixtures. I haven't found many fixtures lately, but you know when I find them, I gotta pick them up. The pink tags were 50% off, so got this guy for $2.50. It's a brand new Rab canopy fixture, vandal proof. It is 70 watt high pressure sodium. Would have been cool if it was something else, you know, like metal halide or a different wattage high pressure sodium. But 70 watt high pressure sodium, no bulb, not a problem. I got plenty. Everything else is here though, so that'll be a fun video. Also got this Econolite 150 watt high pressure sodium wall pack. Again, brand new in box. It says it has a bulb. There's no bulb in there. Not a problem. What do you know? We have a bulb. Again, 50% off. So we got this for $5. It is metal and aluminum construction, surprisingly. I did take it apart just to take a look in there. It seems pretty decent construction-wise. It does have some cheaper ballasting equipment inside, and we'll see that once we get to the video on it. And last but not least here, we have something pretty cool. This is a Sylvania GrowLux plant grower. Picked this up for $5. It came from a Pay and Save store. Again, another local Seattle store back in the day, apparently. And this is an interesting fixture. If you look online, you'll find somebody on eBay is selling like a brochure for this thing. And it uses a high-intensity lamp. And I'm like, well, what in the world is that? It is in here, and it does function. I did take it out and make sure it works. But as you can see, that bulb has a gold end on it. Interesting. Well, it is a 2-foot bulb, just like an F20 T12, but it's 30 watts. It's a 30-watt bulb. It has a special starter, and I'm not sure what the ballast looks like. But again, something very special to take a look at in a video. And last but not least, something that actually came in the mail today is this Panasonic light capsule bulb. I'm not one to buy bulbs online, but if I'm browsing around and I see something that's actually a really good deal for what it is, I'll pick it up. I'm just not that kind of person to get bulbs online, though, because a lot of the time you have to really make sure they are packaged well. Some people are really good with that, some not so much. So you're really, hoping for the best. But anyway, this Panasonic C15 CFL here was too interesting for me to pass up for the price it was. I want to say it was like $15 or something like that. That's a really good deal, and the shipping was incredibly cheap. So I think altogether it was like, maybe altogether it was $16 or $17. I thought that's not a bad price at all for something this rare, because as you can see, it's a very interesting shape. Now this one, I believe, is, cool white, and I've never seen one of these in person. And the picture online did not show the package open. Look at that. Oh, that is so cool. I've never seen anything like this before. Let me set the camera down. Okay, so you pull the bulb out of its package here at an angle, and they give you these instructions here, and they're in another language on the back. But here's our bulb. It is heavy. It has to be preheat. There is a magnetic ballast in there. But look at this. It's like a miniature circle line bulb underneath that. I've seen pictures of these online. I've never seen one in person. That is so cool. So definitely look forward to a video on this coming soon. It's incredibly hot out today, but we're taking a look at the lighting display here with only one light on, because you know what? It makes it feel cooler. Either way, we are moving some things around here on the display. As you can see, we have a new wall pack here. This is 150 watt high pressure sodium. It's by Econolite. We also have this GE light here as well. And the idea with this one is I'd like to move it up here with some of its other friends. And that being said, we have this wall pack fixture here that can find a very nice home with the rest of the wall pack fixtures on the wall. So it'll end up about in the center of your screen, I'm hoping, when all said and done. The other issue is that we have these fixtures that came off of the display, and they were never wired up. They never had power going to them. Well, I have a whole bunch of power cords that are just the regular lamp cords now. So I'm going to go through these and put a little hole in them so that they can accommodate a new power cord, and then we'll be able to at least turn them on as well with the rest of the display. I suppose with that, we also have the two that I took off to put on the wall pack over there. And these also need a cord, so I'm going to try to find a way to put a cord on these as well while we're at it. Might as well. I mean, at least then they will all be viewable and enjoyable once they all can be powered on. Got the Lithonia wall pack down, and it's now in its new home. Looks a little big and bulbous here, to be real honest with you. It would be nice if it was a little higher, because you can't really see the bulb unless you look down. But you know what? It's in its appropriate home with the rest of the wall packs here. But it gets me thinking, you know, we have these fixtures here. You know, let's make it a little bigger so you can see them all. There's a lot of different things going on here, but we have plenty of other fixtures that still need to find a very happy home. Obviously, this one right here is going to be placed up in its new home here, but we have more on this wall. We have the NEMA heads and the this one I think is a McGraw Edison. They all had different names for them, but I absolutely love this design. Anyway, we have a homemade floodlight up here. This is a dual 50-watt high-pressure sodium flood. We got some other things over here too. But maybe we can do a better job at utilizing this wall. Now I have a bunch of items here for yard care and different things around the house. I'm wondering, there's plenty of space down here. I can utilize this a little bit better too. If I were to move this board or delete it altogether and just move the items underneath the shelves here, we could put some hooks and things or put a board towards the top or something. We can move these things over, creating a new space right here to put a board. I mean, there is studs in the wall, but it's nice to have a board because you can, you know, put fixtures in more random places, just like we're doing here. Obviously there's studs, but you can squeeze a lot more in if you just do that. And if I did that, well, I think that would give us more space. So we'll see what we do going forward here, but that's just an idea. The GE area light looks 1,000 times better here than it did right here, because really, I mean, it just felt like it was kind of in the way, but that's where I had it for the little bit of time. And I think it goes well with this little electronic 80-watt mercury vapor thing. So that turned out pretty cool. I'm really happy with it. You know we're always going thrifting. Picked up this lamp cord here, $4, not too bad, kind of close to what the retail price would be. I think I've seen these sold at Lowe's for like 10, so I guess it's not that close. But I remember getting these at Menards back in Wisconsin for probably about the same price back in the day. But always a handy thing to have, so that's good. Picked up these vintage Sylvania CFLs. They're electronically ballasted. Pretty cool design. I do have one of these in the collection, but it's not in a box. And here's actually two of the exact same thing. This one does have a box, so that's awesome. And last but not least, a Lifelite, Lights of America, 12-watt U-bend preheat CFL adapter. Now, I have one of these brand new in box I got many years ago off eBay because I never thought I'd find one. Of course, you think you'd never find one, and then I have like a million of these things now. But this is cool to find another one new in box. I wonder if it comes with a cool white or a warm white bulb. I suppose we'll find out. Not a bad find. I really do hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Leave a like down below and a comment. I do enjoy reading all of your comments. Of course, check out the other videos here on the screen. And until next time, thank you very much for watching.